Hey everybody, what's up? It's Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and keeping in theme with the season, as you can tell, I am here again to talk to you guys about another Christmas horror film that I find to be incredibly underrated. I think that might be the theme for this month. I think I'm just going to do videos on Christmas horror films that I find to be genuinely entertaining and ones that I watch every December without fail. And this one is definitely one of my favorites and doesn't get talked about enough. And today we're going to be talking about a new level of terror. P2. Yes, not P1, not P3, P2. Tells the story of Angela, who, works at a corporate office, and she's late on Christmas Eve working. She's like the last one out of the building, and she gets locked in the building and can't leave by a psycho-obsessed security guard played by Wes Bentley, who is in love with her, and it becomes a fight for her life to try to get out of this parking garage and get home for Christmas. That's really the plot of P2. Let me tell you guys something. For such a small cast, the performances really have to be solid because not a lot of people to bounce off of. You only get a few people, and if these performances aren't solid, this movie's not going to work. First of all, Rachel Nichols as Angela. Amazing. She is phenomenal in this movie. Whether it's the beginning when she's the ambitious, trying to climb the ladder, trying to really make a name for herself at her job, or whether it's when she's being chased by this individual and she has to become a badass, or whether it's when she's just trying to sweet talk him and make him feel good to potentially go easy on her. She can turn it like a switch, and she is brilliant in the movie. Love her performance in this movie. Wes Bentley, who plays the security guard, Thomas, he is phenomenal in this movie too. The man is so deranged that he genuinely thinks, I really think he has convinced himself that what he is doing is good and it's going to make her like him and appreciate him. And he is so unhinged and he plays it so beautifully. Why does P2 kick ass? Well, P2 kicks ass, first of all, because, again, you've got great performances all around. It's a small cast, but the cast that is in this movie is very, very good in this movie. They deliver in spades the roles they're given. I like the material they were given in the first place, and the actors are great. You get a great aesthetic and atmosphere. There's just enough Christmas decorations. There's moments that just, scream Christmas. When Thomas is playing, Elvis's Christmas record throughout the parking garage when she's on the loose to try to almost intimidate her is just chef's kiss brilliant. I mean, it's psychotic and it's just incredibly atmospheric, so I love all of it. You've got a woman that is, in Rachel Nichols in her performance, is a badass. I mean, she genuinely, she's fearful at first, but you never get the vibe that this is too much for her. That she's not going to be able to handle it, that she's not going to be able to find a way out of this. She has the quintessential traits of a final girl, and boy does it show in this movie. She is just flat out awesome in this movie. There's really no other way around it. Now, with the performances, Wes Bentley, not only does he play the deranged, kind of self-absorbed and psychotic security guard super well, but it makes for some genuinely tense and unforgettable moments. There is a dropped storyline. It's not a storyline, but it's a plot point early in the movie about how one of Angela's co-workers at the Christmas party tried to put a move on her when he was drunk, and she didn't like the advance. Well, it was on camera in the building, obviously, so Thomas saw it. And him being obsessed with her, he literally straps this dude to a chair in the parking garage, beats the shit out of him with a flashlight. She's begging for Thomas to leave him alone, let him live. Thomas looks like he's going to, and then just smashes the dude with his car, and his guts fall out and everything. I mean, the moments of gore are few and far between in this movie, but when they are there, oh my God, brilliant. There is a moment that really always gets under my skin, and it has to do with a fingernail on the concrete. And I don't like talking about shit like that because it bothers me. It's literally giving me goosebumps right now talking about it. Don't mess with fingernails. Oh my God. okay? But that's another reason why P2 is awesome. There are moments like that throughout this movie. There are moments that catch you by surprise. There are scenes and moments that stick with you because they're grotesque or they're just so like, wow, I did not see that coming. That rules. The performances rule. The atmosphere and setting rule. Playing on this kind of claustrophobic idea is really interesting because an office building and a parking garage and all the levels to the parking garage, that's a lot of space, right? It's not that claustrophobic. She's not trapped in a bathroom or something like that, not even a house. She's in a whole ass building, parking garage, Wait, that's a lot, but not really. The way the movie is filmed, you don't go to a lot of different places in the movie, which I think works to the movie's benefit because it really gives off that claustrophobic feeling and setting. And the movie just leans into that heavy, and it works to this movie's favor. I mean, absolutely. So kudos to director Frank Calhoun for, really making this feel like a claustrophobic setting and making it feel so desolate and so empty, even though it is such a large space. That has a lot to do with angles and shot composition and lighting, and he really nailed it. I mean, they nailed it. There's a sequence in this movie where a dog is chasing Angela through the parking garage, and it is genuinely suspenseful. And for a lot of reasons, you don't want something to happen to Angela. She didn't do anything wrong. You want her to survive. You're also probably a decent human being that doesn't want to see animals be murdered. Well, rock in a hard place. Here we go. There's only one outcome, and one of them's not going to be great. So, again, another moment in this movie that really, really sticks with you. And, I genuinely, every time I watch that scene, I'm like, oh, come on. No, I have to pick. I have to pick between one of them. And that is, in and of itself, just brilliant. I mean, it is brilliant. Again, with the direction. Again, with the writing. Again, with the performances. It's great. They're great. It's just fantastic. This movie, I feel like flies under the radar because obviously the name is P2. P2 is like, oh, well, what does that even mean? You're not really marketing it as like a Christmas time horror or thriller movie. It's just a letter and a number. It didn't get a lot of marketing behind it. It didn't really have many people talking about it. It just kind of dropped and was forgotten because there was no marketing machine behind it. There was no grabber of a name. There was really nothing about it. Rachel Nichols is a good actress, but I mean, we're not talking like they landed some, I don't know. Let's think of an actress. I don't freaking know. Brie Larson, somebody that everybody knows. And I'm just saying somebody that everybody knows. So it's a shame that the movie kind of just fizzled out. But in the horror community, talking to a lot of you guys about this movie, it's so nice to know that so many of you guys love this movie and appreciate this movie for what it is, because I have always adored this movie since the first time I saw it. And I believe the first time I saw it was I think I watched it on Stars one night right after it was probably the late 2000s, not long after it came out. And I was like, oh wow, that was good. I liked that movie. So I tracked it down. And then playing into another reason why a lot of people probably don't know about it, it's because this is all you can get of it. This basic ass DVD. Why? Because I know that I believe there was a Canadian Blu-ray put out. I'm sure there's a French one and other things like that, but there hasn't been one put out in the States, which is a huge bummer because, and I don't know if it's a rights issue or not. I mean, I want to say it's Summit, which would be Lionsgate as well, right? So yeah, I don't understand why there hasn't been a Blu-ray out for this movie yet, but it's a bummer because if a boutique label could put out a Blu-ray of this with a lot of special features, a collector's edition maybe, you get more eyes on it, more people talk about it, and it kind of gains that cult following and status that I feel like it's always deserved. Now, are there more atmospheric Christmas horror films? Are there more gory and memorable Christmas horror films? For sure. I mean, you're not going to get that argument from me that this is the most atmospheric or the goriest. I mean, I would say Black Christmas 2006, which we just talked about the other day, is 20 times more atmospheric and gory and really just, I don't know, fun than this movie. But this movie does what that movie couldn't do or didn't want to do. Black Christmas 06 didn't want to do certain things, whereas P2 wants to be more surprising and more of a kind of thriller and more of a suspenseful and kind of a slow burn leading up to a very awesome climax. And so in its own way, it succeeds in everything it's trying to do. It's just a very different type of Christmas horror movie. but that doesn't make it any lesser of a Christmas horror movie. So guys, if you haven't seen P2, I really recommend you check this out. And I really hope that you like it. And if you do, sing its praises on social media. Make videos on YouTube. Do whatever you got to do. Get the word out there, because we need to have a company step up to the plate and give us a Blu-ray edition of this movie that we deserve. Because this movie freaking rules. So that's the second time I've done a video this week about a Christmas horror movie that I think rules, that I want to talk to you guys about why it rules, and that I hope that if you didn't think it ruled the first time you watched it, you go, you know what, I'm going to give it another chance. Then you go, you know what, that ruled. Or, maybe you don't think it ruled, but guess what? At the end of the day, we can't all be right, huh? Oh my God, I spilled orange juice. So thank you guys so much for coming down. So thank you guys so much for sitting down with me at this fireside chat where we talked about P2. I'm going to keep this series going all through December. I'm going to shine a light on some Christmas horror films that I think you guys should check out. Some of them you will have heard of, and some of them you will love, I'm sure. But hopefully ones like P2 that maybe you haven't seen, maybe you give them a chance, because it's a banger of a Christmas horror movie. And it's time the world starts talking about it. So thanks so much. Leave a like on the video, comment down below, follow me on social media. And this is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In. And I am pulling out.